The Velori Empire had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. They had conquered 300 star systems. They had crushed 47 species under their boots. They had never lost a war, not once. Their ships were the fastest. Their weapons were the deadliest. Their soldiers were the most feared warriors in all of known space. Emperor Zarvax the Eternal sat on his throne made of crystal and bone. He looked at the holographic map floating before him. A small blue dot blinked in the outer arm of the galaxy. Earth. Such a tiny world, such a young species. The humans had only been in space for 200 years. They were nothing. They were insects. "Tell me again why we should care about this world," the Emperor said. His voice was cold like ice. Admiral Korath stepped forward. He was the greatest military mind in the Empire. He had never failed his Emperor. "The humans have refused our demands, my lord. They will not give us their mineral rights. They will not surrender their outer colonies. They say they are a free people." The Emperor laughed. It was not a nice laugh. "Free? There is no freedom in my galaxy. There is only the Empire. Send the Third Fleet. Burn their colonies. Make them understand their place." Admiral Korath bowed low. "It shall be done, my Emperor." 3 weeks later, the Third Fleet arrived at the human colony of New Manila. 100 warships dropped out of hyperspace. The colony had only 50,000 people. They had no military ships. They had only farming equipment and small transport vessels. Fleet Commander Thax looked at the peaceful world below. Green fields, blue oceans, white clouds, so beautiful, so helpless. "Open a channel," he ordered. The face of the human governor appeared on his screen. She was a small woman with gray hair. Her name was Maria Santos. She looked tired but not afraid. "Commander Thax," she said, "I know why you are here. I am asking you to leave peacefully. We have done nothing wrong." Thax smiled with all 4 of his mouths. "You have defied the Empire. That is wrong enough. You have 1 hour to surrender. If you do not, we will glass your world." Governor Santos was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke. "There are children here, Commander, families, innocent people who just want to grow food and live in peace." "I do not care about your children," Thax said. 1 hour. He cut the transmission. The humans did not surrender. Of course they did not. Thax gave the order. The plasma cannons fired. The colony burned. 50,000 humans died in 1 hour. The fields turned to ash. The oceans boiled. The sky turned black with smoke. When it was over, Thax sent a message to the Emperor. "New Manila has been cleansed. The humans have been taught their lesson." But the humans had not been taught a lesson. They had learned something else entirely. They had learned that the Velori Empire was their enemy, and humans had a special way of dealing with enemies. On Earth, President Chen stood before the United Nations. His face was hard as stone. Behind him, images of the destroyed colony played on massive screens. Burning homes, dead children, ash falling like snow. "The Velori have declared war on humanity," he said. "They have killed 50,000 of our people, innocent people, farmers, teachers, children." His voice shook with anger. "They think we are weak. They think we will bow. They think we will break." He paused. The whole world was watching. "They are wrong." The next day, Earth began to prepare for war. Factories that made cars started making weapons. Shipyards that built cargo vessels started building warships. Scientists who studied medicine started studying how to kill Velori soldiers. And the Marines were called up. General James "Iron" Morrison was the commander of the United Earth Marine Corps. He was 62 years old. He had been a Marine for 40 years. He had fought in 3 wars on Earth before humans went to space. He had fought in 2 more wars against pirates and rebels in the outer colonies. He stood before his officers in the war room. Maps of Velori space covered the walls. Red dots marked enemy positions. Blue dots marked human colonies. "The Velori think they know war," Morrison said. They have conquered weak species, species that gave up, species that ran away, species that begged for mercy. He slammed his fist on the table. We are not those species. We are humans, and we do not beg. Colonel Sarah Chen raised her hand. She was the youngest colonel in the Corps. She was also the most dangerous. General, their technology is better than ours. Their ships are faster. Their weapons are stronger. How do we win? Morrison smiled. It was not a nice smile. We win because we are Marines. We win because we do not care about dying. We win because we will fight them in space, on their ships, on their planets, in their homes, until every last one of them is dead or surrendered. He looked at each officer. The Velori have never fought an enemy like us. They have never fought humans. They do not know what they have done, but they will learn. By God, they will learn. Far away, on the Velori home world, Emperor Zarvax received the news that Earth was preparing for war. He laughed again. Let them come, he said. Let them try. They will die like all the others. He was so very wrong. 6 months passed. The humans worked day and night. They built 100 warships. They trained 200,000 Marines. They developed new weapons that the Velori had never seen. The first battle happened at Epsilon 7, a small mining outpost at the edge of Velori space. The humans came with 30 ships. The Velori had 50. Commander Thax was there again. He had been promoted for his work at New Manila. He looked at the human ships on his screen and laughed. Primitive garbage, he said. Their ships are made of simple metal. They have no energy shields. They will die in minutes. The battle began. The Velori fired their plasma cannons. The human ships scattered like leaves in the wind. Many were hit. Fire bloomed in the darkness of space. Thax smiled. Too easy. Then something strange happened. The damaged human ships did not retreat. They kept coming. Even the ones on fire. Even the ones with holes in their hulls. They accelerated toward the Velori fleet. What are they doing? Thax asked. He did not understand. A young officer looked at his screen with wide eyes. Commander, I am detecting small objects launching from the human ships, thousands of them. What kind of objects? I do not know. They are heading for our ships. Thax watched as the small objects hit his ships. They latched on like parasites. Nothing happened for a moment. Then explosions ripped through his fleet from the inside. Boarding pods, someone screamed. They are boarding us. On the Velori flagship, alarms screamed. Red lights flashed, and then the humans came. Master Sergeant Rico Mendez was the first through the breach. He wore heavy power armor painted with skulls. He carried a rifle in his hands and knives on his belt. Behind him came 40 Marines. The Velori soldiers were waiting. They were 7 feet tall. They had 4 arms and thick armor plates on their skin. They were the most feared warriors in the galaxy. They fired their plasma rifles. Mendez felt the heat wash over him. His armor held. He kept walking. Contact, he yelled. Light them up. The Marines opened fire. Their bullets were made of a special alloy that could pierce Velori armor. The aliens fell. They screamed. They bled strange purple blood. A Velori soldier charged at Mendez. It was huge. It swung a blade that could cut through steel. Mendez ducked under the swing and drove his knife into the alien's throat. Is that all you got? He said as the alien fell. The battle was brutal. The Velori had never fought like this before. They were used to space combat. They were used to bombing planets from orbit. They were not used to enemies coming onto their ships and fighting them face to face. The humans were different. They did not just want to win. They wanted to break the Velori. They wanted to show them fear. Commander Thax watched from his command bridge as his ships fell one by one. The humans were everywhere. They were unstoppable. They fought like demons. Retreat, he ordered. All ships retreat. But there was no retreat. The human ships blocked the escape routes. The Marines controlled the engines of half the Velori fleet. The battle was over. Thax died on his bridge. A Marine named Private First Class Amy Wong shot him in the head. She was 19 years old. She had grown up on New Manila. Her parents had died in the attack. "That was for my mother," she said quietly. When the battle was over, the humans had lost 12 ships. The Velori had lost all 50. More than that, the humans had captured 20 ships intact. They would study them. They would learn their secrets. They would use them. General Morrison received the news on Earth. He nodded slowly. "Good," he said. "Now they know we are coming. Now they know what we are." On the Velori home world, Emperor Zarvax received different news. His third fleet was gone. His best commander was dead, and the humans were advancing into his territory. He did not laugh this time. "Send the 5th fleet," he ordered. "The 7th, the 9th, send them all. I want these humans destroyed." Admiral Koreth bowed. "My Emperor, perhaps we should try to negotiate. The humans are more dangerous than we thought." The Emperor's eyes turned red with rage. "Negotiate with insects? Never. We are the Velori Empire. We do not negotiate. We conquer." Korath said nothing, but he was beginning to wonder if his Emperor was making a terrible mistake. The humans kept coming. They attacked supply lines. They raided outposts. They freed slave worlds that the Velori had conquered centuries ago. Everywhere they went, they fought with a fury that the galaxy had never seen. Other species began to notice. The Kalari, a peaceful race that had been enslaved for 300 years, started to rebel. The Thraxians, mighty warriors who had surrendered to the Empire long ago, began to whisper about freedom. A spark had been lit, and it was spreading. The war raged for 2 years. The humans lost many ships. They lost many soldiers, but for every human that died, 10 Velori fell. The Marines were everywhere. They became legends. They became nightmares. The Velori soldiers started to fear the boarding pods. They called them death eggs because they brought death every time they landed. Some Velori crews surrendered the moment they saw the pods coming. They knew what was inside. They knew they could not win. Colonel Sarah Chen led the assault on Velori Station 7. It was the largest military base in the sector. 10,000 Velori soldiers defended it. She had 3,000 Marines. "They outnumber us 3-1, her lieutenant said. "We should wait for reinforcements." Chen smiled. 3-1, that's almost fair for them. The assault began at midnight station time. The Marines came through the walls, the floors, the ceilings. They used explosives. They used cutting torches. They used their bare hands when they had to. Chen fought at the front. She was hit twice. Once in the arm, once in the leg. She kept fighting. Her blood made her boots slippery. She did not care. "Push forward," she yelled. "They're breaking." The Velori commander of the station was named Lord Vexus. He was one of the Emperor's cousins. He had never lost a battle in his life. He watched the humans tear through his defenses and felt something he had never felt before. "Fear. Fight," he screamed at his soldiers. "They are only humans, they can die." But his soldiers were running. The mighty Velori warriors, the terror of the galaxy, were running from creatures half their size. They ran because they had seen what the humans could do. They ran because they knew that death was coming for them. Chen found Lord Vexus hiding in his command center. He was alone. All his guards had fled or died. He looked up at her with wide eyes. "I surrender," he said quickly. "I am valuable. The Emperor will pay for my return." Chen looked at him for a long moment. "How many slaves did you have on this station?" "What?" "Slaves, the people you captured. The ones who worked in your mines, how many?" Lord Vexus shrugged. "I do not know, perhaps 5,000. They are not important." Chen raised her rifle. "They are important to me." She pulled the trigger. When the battle was over, the Marines freed the slaves. They were from many species: Kalari, Thraxians, others that had no name because the Velori had taken their history from them. They looked at their liberators with wonder. "Who are you?" an old Kalari asked Chen. "We are humans," she said. "We are Marines, and we are here to help." Word spread. The humans were not just fighting for themselves. They were fighting for everyone the Empire had hurt. They were fighting for freedom. Species that had given up hope began to rise again. They joined the fight. They provided information. They sabotaged Valori ships. The Empire was cracking. Emperor Zarvax called his council together. His face was pale. His hands shook. He had not slept in weeks. "How is this happening?" he demanded. "We have ruled for 10,000 years. We cannot be beaten by these animals." Admiral Koreth stepped forward. "My Emperor, I warned you. The humans are different. They do not fight like other species. They do not care about their own lives. They only care about winning." "Then make them care. Threaten their home world. Tell them we will destroy Earth if they do not stop." Koreth shook his head. "We tried that, my Emperor. They sent back a message. They said if we attack Earth, they will not stop until every Valori in the galaxy is dead. They said they will burn our worlds like we burned theirs. They said there will be no mercy." The Emperor was silent. For the first time in his long life, he did not know what to do. A young officer ran into the room. His face was white with fear. "My Emperor, the humans, they have reached the Cardath system." Everyone in the room went still. The Cardath system was only 2 jumps from the home world. The humans were at their doorstep. Zarvax stood up. His throne room suddenly felt very cold. "Prepare the home fleet," he said quietly. "Every ship, every soldier, we make our stand here." "And if we lose?" Koreth asked. The Emperor did not answer. He did not have to. They both knew what losing would mean. The human fleet gathered at the edge of Valori space. 300 ships, 2 million Marines. It was the largest military force in human history, and they were ready to end this war. General Morrison stood on the bridge of the flagship, the UES Vengeance. He was old now, tired. The war had taken years from his life, but he would not rest until it was over. "All ships report ready," his communications officer said. Morrison nodded. He looked at the stars through the window. Somewhere out there was the Valori home world, the heart of the Empire, the place where the order to burn New Manila had come from. "Open a channel to all ships," he said. The channel opened. Every Marine in the fleet could hear him. "This is General Morrison. In a few hours we jump to the Valori home world. We end this war. We show the galaxy that no one attacks humanity and gets away with it." He paused. "Many of you will not come back. I know that, you know that, but your sacrifice matters. Every person on Earth will remember what you did here. Every child will learn your names. You are the best of us. You are Marines." He took a deep breath. "Now let's go make history." The fleet jumped. They came out of hyperspace above the Valori home world. It was a beautiful planet, purple oceans, silver cities, the seat of power for 10,000 years, and it was surrounded by the largest fleet the Valori had ever assembled. 500 ships, twice what the humans had. Every available vessel in the Empire had been called home. Emperor Zarvax watched from his palace as the human fleet appeared. He smiled. "They have come to die," he said. "We outnumber them. We will crush them here and end this war." Admiral Koreth was not so sure. He had studied the humans. He had seen how they fought. Numbers did not matter to them. Nothing mattered to them except victory. "My Emperor," he said carefully, "perhaps we should still consider." "No more talking," Zarvax shouted. "Attack, destroy them all." The Valori fleet moved forward. Their plasma cannons lit up the darkness of space. The battle for the home world had begun. The human ships scattered. They were fast, faster than before. They had learned from the captured Valori technology. They had improved it, made it their own. Smaller human ships darted between the larger Valori vessels. They attached explosives. They launched boarding pods. The Marines came. Master Sergeant Mendez was there again. He was older now, scarred from 100 battles, but he still fought like a man half his age. "Another day, another alien ship to take," he said as he cut through the hull of a Velori cruiser. "You boys ready?" The Marines behind him cheered. They were always ready. The battle raged for hours. Ships exploded on both sides. Thousands died every minute. The space around the Velori home world became a graveyard of twisted metal and frozen bodies. But slowly, impossibly, the humans were winning. The Velori could not handle the Marines. They could not stop the boarding actions. Every time they destroyed a human ship, the escape pods launched and the Marines came anyway. They would land on Velori ships and take them from the inside. "We are losing," a Velori officer screamed on the command channel. "The humans are everywhere. They will not stop." Emperor Zarvax watched the battle from his palace with growing horror. His mighty fleet was being torn apart. The humans were like a disease. They infected everything they touched. "Recall the fleet," he ordered. "Protect the orbital platforms. Do not let them land on the surface." But it was too late. The human fleet had broken through. Dropships were already heading for the planet. Thousands of them, each one carrying Marines hungry for revenge. Colonel Chen was on the first dropship. She looked at the purple planet getting larger through the window. Soon she would walk on the streets of the enemy capital. Soon she would find the palace. Soon she would end this. 10 minutes to landing, the pilot said. Chen checked her weapons. She had a rifle, 2 pistols, 4 knives, and a grenade with New Manila written on it. She had been saving it for a special occasion. "Let's finish this," she said. The Marines landed in the capital city. The Velori soldiers tried to stop them. They failed. Block by block, street by street, the humans pushed forward. The fighting was intense. The Velori defended their home with everything they had, but it was not enough. The Marines had fought across a galaxy to get here. They would not be stopped now. General Morrison watched from orbit as his troops advanced. The tactical display showed the Marines getting closer to the palace, closer to the Emperor. "We're almost there," he said quietly. "Almost." Colonel Chen led the assault on the palace gates. They were massive, made of some alien metal that could resist plasma fire, but they could not resist the Marines. "Breach team, you're up," Chen shouted. A team of Marines ran forward with explosives. They placed them on the gates. Then they ran back. "Fire in the hole." The explosion shook the ground. The gates fell. The Marines poured through. Inside the palace, Emperor Zarvax sat on his throne. His guards were gone. His admirals had fled. He was alone. The sounds of battle echoed through the halls, getting closer, always closer. Admiral Korath appeared at the door. His uniform was torn. Blood stained his face. "My Emperor, you must escape. There are ships in the back. You can." "No," Zarvax's voice was calm now, steady. "I will not run. I am the Emperor. This is my throne. This is where I will die if I must." Korath stared at him. "You could have avoided this. You could have negotiated. You could have made peace." "Peace?" Zarvax laughed bitterly. "The Velori do not make peace. We conquer. That is what we are." "That is what we were," Korath said, "and that is why we lost." He turned and walked away. He did not look back. The throne room doors exploded inward. Colonel Chen walked through the smoke. Behind her came dozens of Marines. Their armor was dented and burned. Their weapons were ready. Zarvax looked at them, at these small creatures who had destroyed his empire. He tried to feel hate. He tried to feel anger, but all he felt was tired. So he said, "You have come." Chen stepped forward. She was covered in dust and blood. Her eyes were hard as stone. "Emperor Zarvax, by order of the United Earth Government, you are under arrest for war crimes, for the murder of 50,000 civilians on New Manila, for the enslavement of countless species, for crimes against sentient life." Zarvax laughed. "Arrest? You think I will submit to your human justice? You don't have a choice." The Emperor stood. He was tall, powerful. Even now he looked like a god. I am Zarvex the Eternal. I have ruled for 300 years. I have conquered worlds. I have crushed species. I bow to no one. He pulled a weapon from his robes, a plasma blade that glowed red hot. Chen did not move. Put it down. No, Zarvex raised the blade. If I am to die, I will die fighting like a warrior, not like a prisoner. He charged at Chen. He was fast for his age. The blade whistled through the air. Chen sidestepped. She grabbed his arm. She twisted. The blade fell. Then she drove her fist into his face. The Emperor of the Velori fell to the floor. Blood dripped from his mouth. He looked up at the human standing over him. You will stand trial, Chen said. The families of New Manila deserve to see you answer for what you did. You don't get to die a warrior's death. You get to live long enough to see your empire crumble, to see every species you enslaved walk free. That is your punishment. She pulled out handcuffs, human handcuffs, made of simple metal. She put them on the Emperor's wrists. Get him out of here, she ordered. The Marines took the Emperor away. Chen stood alone in the throne room for a moment. She looked at the empty throne, the symbol of 10,000 years of tyranny, 10,000 years of conquest, 10,000 years of suffering. She took the grenade from her belt, the one marked New Manila. She pulled the pin and threw it at the throne. The explosion was small but satisfying. When the smoke cleared, the throne was nothing but rubble. For New Manila, she said quietly, for everyone. The war was over. The Velori Empire had fallen, not with a whimper but with a bang, brought down by a species they had dismissed as insects, brought down by humans, brought down by Marines. In the months that followed, the galaxy changed. The enslaved species were freed. The Velori territory was divided among them. A new government was formed, the Galactic Federation, a council of equals where every species had a voice. Humans were offered a seat at the head of the table. They refused. They said they were not conquerors. They were not emperors. They were just people who wanted to live in peace. But the galaxy never forgot what they had done. Every species remembered the day the Marines came, the day everything changed. General Morrison retired to a small farm on Earth. He grew vegetables and watched the sunset every evening. Sometimes veterans would visit him. They would share stories. They would remember the friends they had lost, and they would drink to the future. Colonel Chen became a teacher. She trained the next generation of Marines. She told them the truth. War was not glory. War was not adventure. War was blood and death and sacrifice. But sometimes war was necessary. Sometimes you had to fight for what was right. Master Sergeant Mendez opened a bar on a colony world. He called it the Death Egg after the Velori name for their boarding pods. Marines from across the galaxy came to drink there. He told them stories until closing time, every night. And Private First Class Amy Wong, the girl from New Manila who had killed Commander Thax, she became the first human ambassador to the Galactic Federation. She spent her life building bridges, making peace, ensuring that no one would ever have to go through what her world had suffered. Emperor Zarvex was tried by a galactic court. He was found guilty of crimes against sentient life. He was sentenced to live out his remaining years on a prison planet, watching as everything he built was dismantled. He died alone, forgotten, unmourned. The galaxy moved on. New alliances were formed. New friendships were made. The dark days of the Empire faded into history. But the lesson was never forgotten. Do not make enemies of humanity. Do not mistake their kindness for weakness. Do not think that their small size means they cannot fight. Because when humans fight, they fight with everything they have. They fight with courage and fury and an unbreakable will. They fight for each other. They fight for their families. They fight for what is right. And most importantly, they never ever give up. The Galactic Empire fell because they made enemies with Earth Marines. It was the worst mistake they ever made. It was also their last.